Well, good morning to everyone who is here. This is our third annual Vendor Summit. And as we can see here, you're looking at our agenda for today. We're going to touch on some points that are resourceful to licensed vendors or just vendors in general for organizations as well. So we do have some general business owners who have been invited to participate in our third annual vendor summit because a lot of the topics and the resources also is applicable to them as well. We have Monica Taylor, who works with the SBA, but she does a section called Business and Your Bankability of Your Business. We have a CPA on board this morning. We have those who are in the legal field um, when it comes to knowing about trademark law. And we have an upcoming session for that will be later on next month. And virtual assistants and AI. But nevertheless, I'm going to go over some things that I would like to pull to light before we have our first session. Okay, Know Your Zone. Know Your Zone we began this in 2019. And Know Your Zone, we were created to protect the brand of our Black Greek letter organizations. That's the first part. Very important that we protect the heritage of our Black Greek organizations because they have become cornerstones in African American communities with our community service, with our heritage and pride, with collegiate and career, those things that help fill out those of us who have gone to college and to help our communities. But we're also very cognizant of protecting the IP brand of not only our own organizations, but other organizations as well. And you can keep zipping, and as you zip, Aric, I will just start talking. Okay, Know Your Zone, our purpose and mission. First of all, we are a collective community of Divine Nine members. We advocate for the purchasing of our paraphernalia, or NELIA as some of us call it, from only the approved vendors when it concerns intellectual properties, okay? We would like to give much respect to those of you who have become licensed vendors by paying the licensing fees to the organizations that you sell for when it comes to intellectual properties. Know Your Zone strongly encourages all of our D9 members to purchase authentic licensed NELIA only from approved vendors such as yourself. There are 1,897 licensed vendors in the United States and one abroad. And we only should be buying NELIA from you. Okay. And our motto is if it ain't licensed, it ain't legit. Our next slide. We have a marketplace, which is called marketplace.nelia-zone.com. I think that should be in the chat. It may, but if you look at that marketplace, you'll see that I think we have something like up to 300 licensed vendors. Whereas if you go to that site and you click on their icon or logo, you go directly to their website. It's where those of us can shop directly from the palms of our hands to going to you. Okay. And we have a chapter resource guide that we're putting together. I'll talk about this later on as well. But the chapter resource guide is where we will have our vendors who have bulk items or items that are great for chapter events or for presidential administration logos and icons, or when you're planning your founders days or your different events that are respective to your organization. So when you're looking for large orders, we will have vendors in this guide who are able and ready to service you as well. And that's called the chapter's resource guide. Now we're looking at how we started. The Vendors Summit started in 2023, and what you see right here is the first flyer of our first vendor summit. And these people are the ones who pioneered the way to get us to where we are today. And we would like to give them a big hand, but this is Vendor Summit, the first annual one that we had back in 2023. Now we're going to go to the second one, which was held last year in 2024. And as you can see, we evolved. Okay. Some of us stayed on and some of us are not here today, but we have some great things going on. That's why they're not here today, because they are doing some even bigger things within their respective communities. However, we talked about trademark law. Now, what I would like to do is that I would like to give a moment of silence for those vendors who have passed within the recent year. Some I've purchased from, some I've worked for, some I've never got to meet when I've gone to a convention. So at this moment, let's give a moment of silence for those who we've lost in the vendor industry within the past year. Welcome to our third annual vendor summit. And as we can see that we have a full schedule from now up until 12:30 noon, hoping that we can go to 12:30 noon. However, as you can see, our agenda for today. And while we're waiting for that, our upcoming first section with Monica Taylor and Shamonia Wimberly, are there any things that you would like to put out on the table of what you would like to take away from today's vendor summit? If you have questions, whatever it may be, some things you can put on the table that we can come back to at the end as well.
Yeah, we somebody just dropped a really good question in the chat. Got a quick question from Jir, and I'll please correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name, but Jir Eaton was asking if anyone knew if there's a license required for the NAACP. I know it's slightly off topic, but it's a tangent. But
yeah,
it's still all about licensing, and that's
yes,
what we're
about the licensing. I'm not sure, Jerry. I think it's Jerry.
Jerry, okay.
And
hi, it's Jeray.
Jeray.
Oh,
Jeray. Yes. Okay. I
love
like
it. Love it.
It's even more exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure, but that is something great to look into, because at this moment in time, most organizations, even if they have not been licensed, they are seeking licenses or requiring licenses, such as Jack and Jill, such as a lot of the HBCUs. They're into the licensing game as well. But that is a great question, and I will look into that for you, and I will put it into the group as well. And if they do require it, I will also provide you the information as to how to become licensed for them as well. Is there anyone else? Well, if not, Aric, we can go to our my segment 2 part, so I can get some of those out the way. The resources that you all need to know about. And I'm going to read this this past spring of 2025, as of the date of the printing of this of this graphic that you see, there were 311 new alphas brought in. There were at least 4,324 new deltas, 876 new AKAs, 270 new sigmas, 1,048 new kappas, 478 new zetas, 307 new omegas, 575 new sigma gamma rhos, and 111 new iotas. Now, I can tell you right now, whatever the licensing organization has, their numbers are better than mine. This was the count based off of new initiate videos that I previewed. This shows that at least we had 8,300 plus new D9 members. The reason why this is important is it gives you a sense of where your target audience is and how your target audience is growing. You should, as a vendor, have gotten a percentage of new sales or an increase in new potential prospective customers for your business. It is always important to keep up with your organizations. Now, when we're talking about this, a lot of people have asked us, especially in the groups, who has the color palette for these groups? Okay, I found the color palette for some of them. As we just saw AKA, we have IOTAs, we have Omega Psi Phi, we have Delta Sigma Theta, which may be changing. So be looking out for that new stuff. Phi Beta Sigma, okay? We're looking at their licensing or their primary colors for Zeta Phi Beta. And we also have official colors for Sigma Gamma Rho, the color palette with those numbers, and Iota Phi Theta, the brand style guide. Now, another thing that we need to be cognizant of is who we order our goods from. naliaZONE has a list of foreign manufacturers because we know a lot of you use these foreign manufacturers, but there are some who still design, they don't deliver, they miss delivery deadlines, they don't honor the NDAs, and some have even gypped a fellow vendor. So we do have a blacklist of foreign manufacturers that you need to be aware of. And if you know of any, please forward them to me. A lot of them are on foreign soil. So a lot of times they get away with things, but we need to protect one another when it comes to foreign manufacturers. Aric, if you ever have a problem or some type of issue and you are a licensed vendor for Delta Sigma Theta, this is the email for you to use. There's one of two, okay? One of them, I think, gives you a ticket if you send an email to let them know that they've received your email. But as you all know, Delta Sigma Theta's licensing department has a brand new team there to help you, okay? So please don't gripe, please. And be very, very nice when you do email them about issues. I will get other emails for other organizations as well, but this one is very responsive as well. I am thinking about bringing back naliaPalooza. Okay, bringing back naliaPalooza is our grand showcase. It's a virtual showcase where we spend up all night staying up, playing music, and featuring you as a showcasing vendor to different D9 organizations. And we broadcast this throughout our Facebook groups, YouTube, Instagram, and if I'm not mistaken, oh yeah, I did say YouTube because we do have a channel. I will let you know if naliaPalooza will return this year. If not, naliaPalooza will be returning in the spring. And you'll get more information about that.
And Angelika, one quick note on that. What we had in mind was allowing the vendors to record their own infomercial, like we did with Greekly Speaking, and so we can feature those throughout that event, and then we can give the vendors some portable media that they can use to post on their channels as well. So they would just set up an interview with us. If you're interested in that, just drop it in the chat. Just say interested in, or just drop naliaPalooza in the chat, and then we'll get your contact information and add you to that distribution. But that was a big hit last time we did it.
And also, before you go to the next slide, AJ Okoto says that yes, the NAACP does require authorization, a license of written permission to sell products that uses its name, logo, or any of its branded intellectual property. If you look in the chat, Dre, you will see an email there of who to contact at the NAACP level. And they say this is the person listed for receiving official branding information and probably an entry point for logo usage. So NAACP does require licensing. So thank you so much, AJ. Trademark law. We have an attorney who is willing to do a weekday, preferably a Thursday, on trademark and copyright law. For those of you who are here, if you would like to do a screenshot or take a picture, I think they can do a screenshot for this. And his name is Alozi Itufu. He's an attorney at law. He is in New York City. And he will be available for a trademark law and copyright workshop on a Thursday. I will be sending out information about that. as well. And a lot of us, we need to learn about what we can do and what we can't do. And especially when it comes to the marks of the organizations, we're not saying trademark that because you can't. But when we're talking about designs that people have put in their work, effort, and sweat to make, and then somebody rips it off, or a manufacturer sells it on the black market, we would like to be very, very aware of that and what we are liable for when we take those designs that we know that we did not. Or if you have questions about that as well. So that'll be coming up. The 9-factor badge. That means that what we've had is that a lot of times there have been illegal vendors who have stolen your names, set up shop online, taken orders in your name, and not delivered. And by the time that customer finds out that they're not going to get their stuff, what happens is that they say that you took their money. Well, we have to stop that. So what I've been given is all of the licensed vendors who are part of the marketplace can get the 9-factor authenticated badge. That means you've gone through 9 levels of authentication. Well, I've spoken to you. I've looked at your site. I know you. You may be already in the Creamery or naliaZONE, but there are 9 factors of authentication. Okay. And what it is that you can put that badge on any of your websites, on actual items, and that will assure your customer base and let them know that you are the actual vendor, not the fake vendor. And we've had 12 cases where vendors, not knowing that somebody stole their name and set up shop. So that's the 9-factor badge. If you would like to get that, let me know. If you would like to join the marketplace, let me know as well. And so, and Darylyn, thank you. I have you down for Naliapalooza.